Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to my Greek kitchen. Today we're going to be making a fantastic Greek stew. Today we're going to be making beef stifado. Well, the way we make it in our family. Comforting, easy to make, and I'm sure you're going to love it. For the beef stifado we will need 500 grams of good quality stewing beef cut into portions. We will need 800 grams of pearl onions or little shallots. We will need 5 tablespoons of olive oil, half a cup of red wine, 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 1 tin of chopped tomatoes, 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, 2 bay leaves, 1 cinnamon stick, half a teaspoon of ground allspice, or you can use allspice berries if you've got them, and half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, plus salt and pepper. Are you ready? We're going to put a pan over medium to high heat, and in the pan I'm going to add my olive oil, all of it, okay? And I'm going to wait for a couple of minutes until the olive oil gets nice and hot, because what I want to do is I want to seal my beef. So we're going to start by sealing the beef, and we're going to do it in batches, because if we add all the 500 grams of stewing beef into the pan, it will start boil and cook, and we don't want that. We just want to seal the meat. So we need to make sure that we hear that sizzle when the oil is ready. My oil is ready, so I'm going to start adding. You hear that noise? I'm going to start adding my beef in batches to seal it all around. My first batch is ready, and I just want to show you this. This is the seal that you want on the meat. So we're going to take the first batch out. And you know, when you add the meat on the oil, and sometimes I have the tendency to move it about. Don't. Let it just sit there for a couple of minutes until it seals properly and it gets a lovely crust. And then once it's sealed on all sides, you can remove it from the pan. Keep it on one side because we want to collect all these lovely juices, and then continue by adding the next batch of meat. My last batch is ready, so that's my third batch. And it looks fantastic. I'm going to remove now the beef, and using the same oil and all this goodness, all these juices of the beef, I'm going to add my onions straight into the pan, okay? And I'm going to give them a mix, and I'm going to leave them here to soften a little bit and brown for 5 minutes. My onions had 5 minutes and they look amazing. Okay, next thing, red wine goes in and red wine vinegar. And you know, for me, and we're gonna let those two evaporate. For me, these days, that flavor of wine and vinegar takes me back to when my mom used to make these dishes, and still makes it, of course. My red wine and the red wine vinegar have evaporated, and they have beautifully deglazed the pan. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our tomato puree and give it a stir so it mixes in with the onions, just like this, because tomato puree has a lot of flavor, so we want to mix it up a little bit. Next thing, the spices, cinnamon and allspice, cinnamon stick, bay leaves, and our beautiful chopped tomatoes. We're going to give this a minute stir. It smells amazing. This is an easy dish to cook, really, in the sense of yes, you have to brown the meat, so there's a little bit of patience required here, but then it's about mixing and putting everything together and let everything cook low and slow. Next thing we're gonna do is we're going to add the meat with all the juices that we kept, and I'm going to add enough water to cover the meat. Okay, just water from the kettle. I'm gonna then bring it up to the boil, and then I'm gonna turn it down to simmer and let it cook on the stove for about 2 hours. So some people like to cook this in the oven. I prefer to cook it in the stove. A bit of water, bring it to the boil, lid on, simmer, couple of hours. I've added my water from the kettle, and I want you to come and have a look at this. You see? I'm going to add loads of pepper, and I'm gonna wait for it to come to the boil. Once it has come to the boil, I'm gonna turn it down to simmer and leave it for a couple of hours. But I have to ask you for a favor. In the hour, you have to check it. Make sure that it still has enough water, because you don't want your dish to dry out. Our stifado is ready, and I have to tell you, it smells absolutely divine. Let's have a try. So it's been cooking for a good couple of hours until the meat is nice and soft and the sauce has reduced. And I've let it cool down so I can try it, because this time I cannot exercise any kind of patience. So let's have a look. Look at this. And the onions are still lovely and whole. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, disregard the bay leaf and the cinnamon stick, but everything else. So you can serve this with mash, you can serve it with orzo, you can serve it on its own with some really nice crusty bread, but mash or orzo goes really nice with it. Let's have a try. Delicious, soft, aromatic. I hope you try this dish. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you here next time for some more Greek cooking. Take care, bye bye.